Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's an Amber thing. I am Amber. Man, I must say, I am having a huge amount of anxiety regarding this topic of Jehovah's Witnesses. I've been thinking about it since I said I was going to do it, and I have just been I don't know, just sick to my stomach. I have all this fear inside of me, and it's just insane. Then I was thinking to myself today, wow, this is proof of how masterful their programming process is and how deep the program runs. I have been away from the organization, the Jehovah's Witness organization, since 2005. So for me to still have this much anxiety and fear about speaking up, wow. I didn't think this was going to happen. I didn't think I was going to be afraid. I thought I was just going to be like, this is what it is. This is what's going on. But no, instead I feel sick to my stomach. So right now, I'm about to step way outside my comfort zone. Hopefully it'll do some good for some people out there, and for me, most definitely. I need to do some good for me. I'm going to just do short videos. I'm not going to do really long videos. It's always really hard for me to do longer videos because of the kids and things like that. But I thought I'd just kind of start off by talking a little bit about my background. So I was brought up in the organization. A lot of people call it the truth. I will not. I don't believe it is the truth, so I'm not going to call it that. I'm going to call it the organization because that's what it is. I was brought up and raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I had left the organization for quite a long time. When I turned about 16, I was what they called disassociated, which I'll explain a little bit later on in the process. It's a little bit like a step right before you get disfellowshipped, and disfellowshipped is when you are not in good standings with the organization anymore, and the other members are not allowed to speak to you, and you to them. And then later on in life, I think I was going on my third child, and I decided that I wanted to come back. I don't really think I decided that because I just felt like something was missing in my life. And I had always been taught that if you ever leave the organization, you'll come back realizing, that it's the true organization or the true religion. That's what they call it. And so since I had been taught that, that's what I did. I went back. I was married, had 3 children, went back, got baptized, and then about 5 years later, maybe a little bit longer, some things happened, between my ex-husband and I ended up on the other side of this organization. I was disfellowshipped. My husband and I had separated, and I had no desire to go back into the relationship. There had just been a lot of things that had happened, and I had decided that I had had enough, and that I was going to, I was going to keep to my separation. And that was not what the organization had in mind for us. So since I didn't fall back in line and go back to my husband, I was disfellowshipped. I was called unrepentant, and disfellowshipped. I went into a meeting with 3 elders. That's what they call the top of the food chain in your kingdom hall, in your meeting place, your church. Actually, they don't call it a church. They call it a meeting, the hall, the kingdom hall. And it's where they do meetings. not services or, anything like a normal church would call it. And they do say that they are not a religion. And by golly, they're not. They're a corporation. The Bible Tract Society is definitely a corporation. It's a money-making business. I'd gotten called in, and I went to this meeting where I was asked a bazillion questions, and, I felt like I was in an interrogation. That's really what, and I mean, all I know an interrogation to be what I see like on NYPD or, something like that. I don't know. But it was probably about 2.5 to 3 hours long. I cried. I was made to feel like I was this big. And then I knew that my fate was going to be decided based on what these three elders, thought of me and thought of my responses to their questions. And, excuse me, I've been sick the past couple days. It was really hardcore, I really wanted to record it. But I was petrified. I was like, I can't do that. What if they catch me? Like, what's going to happen? So I didn't do it. And I wish I had, because it was just really abrasive. So anyways, I get called back in, probably about a week later or so. And they tell me that, they've decided that they're going to disfellowship me, that me not wanting to go back to my husband was not, an appropriate response, basically, and that they were going to be announcing it at the next meeting. I think it was like it's been such a long time, I almost forget like what some of these things are called, the service meeting. So this is like a meeting generally on a Wednesday or Thursday evening. It's like the portion where they do the training. They have like an extensive ministry school, and they do training. So you go up and you like give talks about certain subjects, and they grade you as you're giving these talks, and instructing. When you're a woman, it has to be a 2-part meeting. You can't face the audience. You can't, it's not, if you're a man, you stand at a podium and you get to face the audience and preach. They're very anti-women doing anything in the religion except for a 2-person part that's like 5 minutes long. We don't really have too much of a place or a say-so in this organization. We're to be more seen and not heard. That was a big problem for me. But in any event, they were telling me that they were going to announce my disfellowshipping or disfellowshipment. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to go and face this head on, because I'm just not one to shy away from things, and I just felt like it was, I don't know. I guess I worried about like what my peers would be snickering about, wondering about, saying, with me not there. So I went. And mind you, this has been, pretty much all of my life I've been involved one way or another with the witnesses. And at this point, I had been involved for 5 years very heavily. And so, I knew all of the people in my specific congregation very well. And, this was an intense thing for me. So I went and I sat in the back, and, I walk in and everybody's kind and loving, and how are you? Let's get together, da-da-da, da-da-da. And by the time my announcement was made, there's like people turning around, looking at me. In literally 1 minute that it takes them to announce that you are disfellowshipped, every friend and family that you had prior to that moment is all taken from you. Nobody will look at you anymore. Nobody will talk to you. They all want to talk behind your back, though, because they're all really curious about what happened. But There's a lot of speculation that happens, a lot of it's a terrible, terrible process. And from that point forward, I had, really just in my mind decided absolutely never going to go through this again. And I never want to put my children through this. I want to pull us out of this immediately, like as fast as I possibly can. There were so many things that since I was even a small child that I had questioned. But if you are or were a Jehovah's Witness, you know that that is absolutely not allowed. If you question anything that they give you as far as your spiritual feeding or, the talks that they give, then you are, in fact, questioning Jehovah. No, I'm not. I'm not questioning Jehovah. I'm questioning what you're teaching me and and if this is truly from God. There was so much of that. There was, oh my goodness, there's so much. I'm wondering if you can leave me a comment and let me know what you're specifically interested in hearing about. And then I can maybe break things down and speak on those things, because I could speak for hours, like literally hours on this subject. 1914, how the Jehovah's Witnesses were affiliated with the UN, even though they were saying that they were a part of, what did they call it? The disgusting, I'm going to have to, oh my goodness, I can't remember off the top of my head. But like that they were the false, the false, everything that was false in the world had to do with the UN. That they were, was it the beast? That they were like the modern day Babylon. But then I ended up finding out after doing some research that the Jehovah's Witnesses were in fact affiliated with the UN. I found out that they had changed some things with regards to 1914 and the date and what it represented. All this new light, new stuff that was coming up. That's how they get away with changing things in their religion. Like, they change things so all the time that they had to come up with something, I guess, to justify all the changes. And so what they do is they say that they get new light from the faithful and discreet slave. The faithful and discreet slave are board members, basically. Board members that decide basically the fate of the organization and everybody in it. There's so much. Let's do this. I'm going to take the very first comment and give me a topic, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to do my very next post on that comment, the very first comment. So let me know what it is that you want to know, and I will come back to you with an answer with the very next video. There's just so much. I'm gonna have to use some of my ministry skills to outline this crap and get it out here. No, there's so much. Okay, do that, please. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you want the next topic to be, and that's what it'll be. For now, I'm gonna go, and yes, leave me a comment. Thank you. Bye.